I first started when I was 9 years old to play violin. My family is, everybody in my family was playing some instruments, so my older sister just bring me to the musical school, and I was playing classical music, and there was lots of hopes in me to become a classical musician, but since I started playing music, I was always getting into improvisation. There was even one anecdote about the piano teacher who was playing with me when I was playing some little concertos in my musical school. She was always afraid of playing with me because I was improvising in the middle of the Bach tune or some other stuff, and she never could really imagine where we would go with the song, and she told me that many years after. So I remember and I understood immediately that from the early beginning I was expressing myself through improvisation. So this is how I got to jazz music when I was 13 years old. I was actually kicked off from the musical school because of that a few years later.
I was 15 years old when it
Когда мне было 15.
happened, but a few years later I got into the music academy jazz department in Katowice in Poland and got a scholarship in Boston, and then I moved for 2 years to New York after that. I needed to, because of the fact I was kicked out from the school, it only proved that for me I need to follow my own path, which is different from what education wants to offer to me. So I needed to follow that instinct, and because I was so much sure that I have my music inside and I just want to bring it out, it gave me a lot of energy to do that. I couldn't get to the point where I am right now without education that I had before and after that, when I got into the music academy. Especially a very important thing that happened was my meeting after some years with classical contemporary composers who made a project with me, and I understood that even I got my own language in improvisation and I found my own path and sound. The classical roots is something very important that builds myself, and I got back with this new thinking about the music to the classical world, and now I balance in my own music in between jazz, improvised music and classical music, and this is what gives me a chance to break some rules because I understand how it works. I feel that the violin for me is more like a extension of my body, my mind, my heart. So I feel very, very, very grateful that I started playing violin because it's very natural for me to play on this instrument, and it has all possible possibilities to really express what I want to express in music. So this is the best instrument I could have to make my music. But I must admit that when I was learning to play jazz music, I almost never listened to jazz violinists because I was not interested in listening to somebody else. I was really searching for my own sound, which I described in my mind so differently than I heard from the others, that I couldn't hear them, listen to them, because I knew that it's something different than what I want to achieve on my instrument. So I am a huge fan of any other instrument, and I find inspiration which I brings into my playing, like a guitar is one of those instruments that I found very inspiring to start playing extended techniques of pizzicato on my violin, and I create some sounds and some way of playing that I never heard before. So that was a huge inspiration for me to create my own language. I keep finding that still. And going back to your question about the multi-instrumentalists, I think this is something that I love, especially in today's indie rock and other genres music. When I see musicians who get on the stage and that you have 3 or 4 musicians, but they play so many instruments, I think this is coming from the need that we find in the classical music when the arrangements are made for so many different sounds. And because music is developing in the direction where classical music was going and is going through many years, we want to experience different sounds, and we already explored so many possibilities in the harmony, in the melody, in every aspect, that what is important today is sound. So there's so much spot for the people who plays different instruments to get the audience inspired by experiencing different sounds on the concert. I feel that I am coming from the country that is very similar to Ukraine, and what I feel already here and what I want to share with you is that you have a huge potential of people who want to prove their energy, their talent and everything, and they want to go and be seen by the other people and see also experience that the difference that is here, that's coming from your culture, from your roots, is something beautiful that you want to share in the context of today's world. And this is what happened in Poland when the doors were open for us to go abroad and share music, share art, and we started communicating and doing music together with the musicians from other countries. So what I want to share is that we want you also to do the same, and I hope some festivals and will bring a chance for artists to meet and make some beautiful music, which will be a proof that we can speak one language and learn from each other and make some beauty that will then inspire the others. So I think art is made for that.
Кожної людини є, творчої людини, є такий стан: я хочу це зробити, я обов'язково це зроблю, я можу це зробити, і потім вау, я це зробив. Я вже стою в когорті відомих джазових музикантів, і попереду в мене там long way.
Хочу додати,
Коли цей момент був?
At the beginning, I really, first thing I did, I imagined it was done already. And I felt that. I felt how I feel when I did it. And then I tried to make it really happen.
I feel very much connected to the place where I was born and place where I live, because I feel connected with my culture and with the people that are daily in my life. But I also see and experience that I have so many friends and people who are so close to who I am in the whole world, and it's not only Europe, but it's also Asia, it's also United States, South America, and Iceland. Wherever I go, I experience that people are the same, and I want to share my music with them and also learn about their culture and how they experience their lives. So it's always great to be there and be part of it.
I hope there are some musicians here. I'm pretty sure there are some musicians here. So we'll have a little bit workshops. But to bring music to this place, we will maybe start with some tune. Usually we play our original music like we did yesterday. It was for us very great experience because
We were working with Kshistov for last couple of months and weeks on music that we want to record in November in Hamburg in Germany. It's going to be our first album with this quartet, and we decided that we want to try it live on the concert, and it happened yesterday, so it was a great time for us. But I believe there are many musicians here that still play classical music but want to improvise, and so we will bring some standards on the table, which is a kind of tradition that we based on, and then I would like to ask you to come here and we can maybe work a little bit on improvisation, because classical music used to be improvised, and there's not a big difference between composing music and improvising music. So I believe that improvisation is something that is important for everybody. No matter if you want to play classical music, jazz, rock, or anything else. It's just a way of bringing out your natural voice that you have inside, your sound and emotions that you want to really take out of you through improvisation. Always try to inspire people for improvisation, because it's also a way of practicing understanding of the instrument that you play, because through improvisation you just imagine some sound and you try to create it on your instrument, and you also learn about what your instrument can really make, what kind of sound it can make. So I think it's really cool to connect to the instrument that you play. We will try to improvise a little bit with Kshistov, and then we will probably get to the song called Footprints. It's a very famous standard, and then we would like to bring you here to improvise with us. You improvise great and you listen, and this is what it's the most important thing in improvisation. When I was in New York for a little while, I remember that I met people in one jazz club every night that were representing every possible culture that you can imagine from the world. Everybody were talking different languages, their style of looking, their style of playing, their thinking about the rhythm and harmony was totally different. So when I was going on the stage, I couldn't just be there and think that the way I think is the best. I needed to think that all of the points of view are equal, the same value. So we need to really try to do something together. So the best moments that I experienced as a musician working with these people was when I forgot about myself, but I was really thinking about the other. And the same with the improvisation. We need to try to really listen to each other and try to create and be really sensitive about the little signs that everybody sends to each other that can put music into some direction. When you feel that some of the band members is taking a solo and you see that he's really giving his best for that moment, you need to make a space for this person to really take it out and to be visible. But from the other way, to make some things happening, you also need to encourage yourself to sometimes step up and really do something that will inspire the others. And the most important thing is to know where is the moment to take step back and where is the right moment to take step up. And what we will try to do now, we will try to improvise not only with the notes, thinking about the note, about the pitch of the note, about the harmony, but thinking about the sound of the note. I think what we could do right now is to create kind of the sound of the whole band, creating these sounds, some contemporary sounds, and see what will happen. I will try to kind of conduct you in this process, and we will also let the others to have a chance to improvise during that process.
Okay, let's try together.
Постоянно, когда я играю какие-то импровизации, я боюсь сыграть неправильную ноту, что плохо прозвучит или как-то так. Как не бояться этого и как предугадать, какую ноту сыграть?
Miles Davis once said that there's no false note at all. It's the only thing that exists is that we expect something from the note, and if it doesn't go along with our expectation, then we think that it doesn't work, that it's a false. Of course, there are many rules about which scale works with which chord, but if you learn enough about how it works, then you can really break it, and then you realize that almost everything works if you are really 100% sure that this is something that you want to play. Like, let's say we have C minor chord, but you play E instead of E flat. It works in a
Теж
way.
буде працювати в якомусь
It
випадку.
shouldn't, but it can work. I mean, if you play in a consequent way some stuff, it will work. So there are many rules about it, and when you go to the classical school and you learn the music, you want to be perfect in playing music that was written, which I totally understand and don't want to say it's a wrong way. But we need to understand that nowadays even mistakes, let's say, are some quality that you can use for art creation. And there's nothing better during the concert for us jazz musicians than a mistake, which is mostly the most exciting moments, which really takes the music different directions, and this is for us a signal to really think and see what we can do with that, and that's the biggest inspiration. So I think the basic thing when you begin to improvise is not thinking about the mistakes, but it's thinking about what I want to play and to listen to you and really think if you like it or not, and it's your decision what you want to do with that. I did it once in New York. You do that? Yeah, sure, you can join us and we can really, play together. Yeah, great. Good to have you here. I was really missing that.
Саме
Став.
цього мені не вистачало.
Last time I was playing that, it was really in New York, so it's great to have that here. I mean, now your turn to improvise together with no drums. I mean, you need to listen to her and try to play with the groove, okay?
Many people don't think about this. This is a music, but it is a music, and we also have a problem like improvising. So we're also afraid about mistakes. We're also afraid about the wrong note, the wrong sound, and etc. But it's even, I think, harder because you have to keep your weight, because all you guys like in your comfortable zone, but I also can fall when I do the wrong note. So it's
My bow, I don't know if you see it, but my bow was like just like flying during the scene.
yes.
So I think we all, have
I
to
just
balance
can't go out.
everything.
My name is Jana,
Jana, very nice to meet
and
you.
I'm very happy to be here because in my city, my favorite lovely city, Vinica, there is no opportunity to improvise with professional jazzmen to such often like I wanted to.
Great
So
that you are here.
I'm very thankful and grateful for this opportunity to all organizers and all you guys who came to Vinica.
So let's try to jam. I want you now to kind of conduct in a rhythmical way the group, and I would like you to follow her and try to really establish a groove all together, okay? In any way. So you have a conlegno that we just tried. You have pizzicato. You have, of course, arco. But try to focus on the rhythm more than on the right pitch notes. This is something that in a classical world sometimes I am missing. To really think more about the groove, about the rhythm, to change it, to really feel your body move with this rhythm, okay?
Adam Baldych Orchestra. Доброго дня, і ми ще раз вітаємо Adam Baldych Orchestra, Вінницю, Київ,
Thank you.
Суми.
I just want to say that I will be upset if when I come here next time, I won't you see all playing together. You need to make a band and you need to make a record. You need to go on tour. You have enough talent, enough different instruments and ideas to make it really great. And I really keep my finger crossed for you.